girls to shrink themselves, to make themselves smaller. We say to girls, you can have ambition, but not too much.
Hey y'all, this is your host Andrea, and you are tuned into Black Girl Gems. And we about to get into some things, y'all. So go ahead and get your wine or your tea or your water ready. And if you're not following me, please go ahead and follow me on Drea Baby, and that is DR3A_BBY on Instagram. And tune in because we about to get into some things, honey. We about to get into some things.
We don't teach boys the same. We raise girls to see each other as competitors, not for jobs or for accomplishments, which I think can be a good thing, but for the attention of men.
What's up, y'all? So today's episode is going to be about watching the company you keep. Really just like, being careful about the circles that you run in, who you hang out with, who you let into your circles, like who you let around you, like, and all that stuff about getting to know the real you. Like always, I always tell how the topic came about. I had this one girl slide into my DM, and while we only have 2 episodes on this podcast, this girl had slid into my DM, and she was telling me about how she was hanging out with some girls at work, and I guess things got crazy, and they kind of started spreading rumors about her at work. So I know initially it seemed like everything was work-related in Black Girls Gems, but we talk about everything. So we can talk about real-life problems, work, family, love life, all of that stuff. So it doesn't always have to be work-related. I don't want y'all to feel like it's only about work. So today I said, you know what? I'm going to talk about watching the company you keep, because I don't think that people really realize how important it is to watch who you really let in your inner circle. And especially when you leveling up and doing what you need to do, like getting your shit together, it's really important to watch the company that you keep. So I just want to kind of start off by saying that when you start to get your shit together, whether it's getting your money right, getting healthy, getting your credit better, like the way you look, your skin, whatever it is, as far as getting yourself together, you're going to start losing friends. And it's just simple. It is lonely at the top, and that's not a saying because it's just meant to scare you. That's the reality of it. I especially because now everything is so social media heavy, and I see all the time on social media, like these influencers and these content creators, they're constantly like, oh, I'm hanging out with this girl, I'm promoting, me and this girl are doing this together. But to me, that's not genuine. Like there's no genuity behind it because it's promotion. It's essentially like, okay, I'm promoting this girl because it's going to help me, when I'm trying to secure this bag or whatever I'm trying to do. But in real life, like everyday working people, regular people, like me and you, small business owners, whatever, regular people, you're not going to have this plethora of friends, this huge, all these friends and people. That's not the reality of it, because the reality is, unfortunately, some people just hate, and, some people just can't stand to see you doing better than them. Outside of family, so like I always say, I'm the youngest of 5, really kind of 6, because my uncle's like my brother, but I am the youngest of 5. And outside of my family, I could honestly only say that I have 3, like, genuine female friends that I genuinely care about them and what's going on in their day-to-day life, and they know what's going on in my personal life. I mean, I have like female friends from college, but they're like, oh, like, how's everything been? Or if I see them out somewhere, I'll talk to them. But it's not like they're really like deep know my everyday in and out. Nah, I really only have 3 really good, close female friends. And, when I was young, when I was in high school, I remember I had so many female friends. I had like 15 female friends. And we swore we were always going to be, like, together and, we're going to hang out and we're going to be friends for the rest of our lives. And that wasn't the case. It was, like, 15 of us, like, legitimately. Like, we went to parties together. We went, like, to the mall together. We did everything together. Just everything. Like, we were always hanging out together. It was always, like, a lot of us. But the older I got, once we went to high school, people went away to college, that circle got smaller and smaller and smaller. And out of all of those 15 girls that I was super, super close with, I'm only still close with one out of 15, one of them. to this day that I still, how are you doing? How's your son? Like, I'm gonna pull up on you. We're gonna go out for drinks, whatever, out of 15 people. So I'm saying it to say, not to scare any of my listeners, but I'm saying it to say that all jokes aside, as a regular working class citizen, when you are trying to level up and get your shit together, you are going to lose friends. And that is just normal. It is not, I don't want you to be scared about that and feel like, oh my God, I don't want to be a loner. But that's, that's honestly the truth of the matter. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's just how life is. And the quicker that you understand that, I think it's honestly better for you. Because I when I was much younger, like between the era of 19 and like 23, I was so like, oh, this person is phony and she a phony ass bitch and she don't talk to me no more and not understanding like how did I go from having like 15 female friends to like maybe like 5 or 6 or whatever the case may be. I just was so confused. I just didn't understand it. But then I had to realize like when you start to get your shit together, you will lose friends, and that's just life. That's just how it is in the real world. So like I said, it's going to be a lot of different things. It's not only, it's really watching the company you keep, like who you really allow in your inner circles, what to expect when you're leveling up. And yeah, so that's what this topic is going to be about. And as always, I always tell a story before I get into the topic. So, I'm a firm believer that, when you have a man, a fiance, a husband, you really should keep them away from your friends. I know that sounds crazy. I know it sounds like, damn, girl, you being mad overprotective, or dang, girl, you being crazy. But that's the truth of it. You really should keep your man away from your friends and your female friends more specifically. But I mean, if you have male friends and they're straight and you got a man, I don't really know how your man's okay with that, but whatever. If you have female friends, I will not have my husband, my fiance, all around them. And no, I won't. And that's just a personal thing from my personal experience, because I just feel like that's just like, it's just messy and it's asking for problems. Rewinding now. So like when I was like, this is the era of me being 19 and 23. I'm 30 now. So when I was like between the ages of 19 and 23, I really had like 2-3 boyfriends. And I remember my best friend at the time, she hated every single person I dated. Well, no, not really. Like my high school boyfriend, she didn't really hate him. She didn't really have a problem with him because he was mad chill. But like after high school, my 2 boyfriends after high school, she hated them. Like, and it will really never be a specific reason as to why she hated them. She just always would talk shit about them. She would always say how much she hated them and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, she's just crazy, whatever. So really the type of person that she was is she's super loud. She talks more than she listens. She always has to be heard. She always has to be seen. So she's that type of female who, she's just very outspoken, very just loud, very just like her presence always has to be known. When I first met her, I was like, okay, this girl's a little crazy and she's doing too much, but whatever. We ended up being friends. So, we started hanging out more and more, whatever. And, now we're like a little bit older, we're out of high school. So, I noticed like every person I would date, she just hated them so much. Another thing I noticed about her was she gave a lot of backhanded compliments. Now, I'm Nigerian, and a lot of my African Caribbean, like whatever, if you're like African or Caribbean, you'll probably understand this more. But it's like, how like the African aunties, like they're very competitive, especially when it comes to their children. And my daughter just graduated medical school, and she's on top of finishing her medical degree, she has an MBA. And so it's always that like kind of competitive spirit. And sometimes they do give backhanded compliments like, oh, your daughter, she just finished medical school. Is she married? Oh, my dear, she's still not married, but she's a doctor. Oh, like very, So that's how she was. But this friend, she's not like Caribbean or African or anything like that. She's just like regular American. But that's how she came across. Like a lot of backhanded compliments, a lot of sneak dissing. Like if I had a Dior crossbody bag or a Dior saddle bag, she'd be like, "Oh, I like your bag. Is it real?" Or she would be like, "Oh, that's cute. It doesn't really show your gut like that." And just like a lot of like sneak dissing. So the whole time she was like that, I was like, whatever. Like that's just who she is. That's how she is. Like whatever. My first boyfriend, my high school sweetheart, he had told me that she's a snake. He was like, listen, she's a snake, and that's not your real friend because she's constantly in competition with you. And I'm telling you now, like, that's not a a real friend. So now that was my high school sweetheart. And so then after high school, I met this guy. He came from a good family, but for whatever reason, he just was one of those type of guys who he came from a good family, but he just wanted to run the streets. So like I think his mom was like a nurse and his dad was a truck driver, and they had a house his parents were homeowners, and they had dinner every night at 8:00, whatever, like your traditional American family. But for whatever reason, he wanted to run the streets of Jersey City. He wanted to kind of do that, went to jail, gun charges, all that type of stuff. So I know that he wasn't no good for me. He was like a typical hood nigga. And I just was head over heels for him. I was so in love with him, so infatuated with him. And he wasn't really the best, but I was like, we can make this work. So when we were dating, he was verbally abusive, extremely verbally abusive. Like he would always just talk to me crazy, talk down to me, and then it escalated to physical abuse where he would hit me in places like my legs and my arms. And then it escalated one day to the point that he punched me in my face and broke my nose. And that's when I really said, okay, I have to call this quits because, I've endured enough and this is getting crazy. So, we ended up, breaking up. We went to court. He went to jail. This whole thing that happened. And I don't know why, but for whatever reason, me and the friend who was always sneak dissing, we just gonna call her Messy. Me and Messy, she just, for whatever reason, me and her, I guess we weren't really on good terms, but we kind of sort of were on good terms. But like after that whole situation happened with my ex, who had broke my nose and he went to jail and whatever, when he came home, she like congratulating him and telling him like, "Oh, welcome home to bro nigga, like welcome home brother," like, and I'm just like, okay. And, she had him come into her house. She was like, they were smoking together and like kikiing. And I'm just like, this is very strange. Like, this is very awkward. Like, why are you, like that's some, like what type of kind of shit is that? Like, where I'm from, that's not normal. Like, you not, as my female friend, you're not supposed to have my man's phone number. You're not supposed to be his friend on social media, and you're not like, that's just too much. Like my sister, that's different, that's family. But my female friends, like, no, even my female friends now, they're not friends with my fiance on Instagram. Why? Like, what's the reason? That's a little bit strange to me. I think that's a little bit too much. But whatever, that's how she was coming. So yeah, when he came home, she was doing all that. So I'm, I was just like, okay, this is strange. Like this girl, like obviously that was my mistake. I let her be around my man entirely way too much. So that's why I say, number one, when you are in a relationship, you're married or you are engaged, do not bring your female friends around your man. And I'm not saying like you gotta lock him in a closet and throw away the key. No, but like obviously events like parties, baby showers, weddings, events like that, obviously he's gonna have to pop out with you, yes. But if I'm having a girls' night in my apartment or whatever, and me and my man to live together, he needs to go out there. Like you need to go somewhere when they come over here. Like if I'm like, there's no reason why like you should just be in their face like that. Like to me, that's weird. That's just too much. Like especially after what I experienced with like my messy friend. Like I just wouldn't want to. I just wouldn't want to allow that to keep happening. Another story that made me really feel like, yeah, you gotta keep your man away from your friends is because well, this guy wasn't really my man, but there was this boy that he has always had a crush on me for so long. He's nice. He comes from a really big family. He's from Virginia, but he lives out here, but he has a huge family. So like I always go to his house, we hang out, we be watching, he likes to cook, like we'll watch movies together. Like he's really like he's a really good, genuine friend. Like we have really good conversation. But he's always had a super big crush on me. But for whatever reason, we just never meshed like that. Also too, because he tried to talk to a lot of my friends. So for me, I was like, don't really want to talk to you like that. So I remember one day we were at his house, and like I said, he's the type of guy, he doesn't really have a lot of friends outside of family because his family is so big. So like it's like he doesn't really need to have like a lot of homeboys because he got mad cousins who are like his homeboys. So I remember one day me and my friend Messy and the nice guy from Virginia who was my friend also, we gonna call him Country, we were all chilling in his house. We were chilling in his basement. And it was like me and her and like some other girl or like some other female, maybe his cousin. And then like it was maybe like about 6 or 7 of us. And we were just all hanging out. Like we were like watching TV. We were about to start like drinking, smoking, just like having a good time. So she says, this is what I'm saying about the sneak dissent and the backhand compliments. So basically, I don't know how, like exactly how the conversation came about, but like he was like, oh, I'll give you an eighth, or I'll give you like a dub or whatever, so we could all smoke and get high or whatever. Just out of being like, oh, like I fuck with her, whatever. I wanna, like, we all about to smoke, I'll give you a dub, roll it up. So then she says in front of everybody, oh, I wouldn't be giving her free weed if she ain't fucking me or if she not busting it open. She said in front of everybody. So then I turned to her and I said, well, I don't have to fuck for Aves. I don't have to fuck for dubs, and if that's what you gotta do, like, you need to, like, really kind of reevaluate your situation. So she gets mad, and she starts tearing up, and she's like, oh, my God, why would you say that? Why would you say it in front of everybody? I can't believe you would say that. But I'm sitting there looking at her like, you just said some crazy shit to me, and what was I supposed to do? Just sit there and be like, oh, okay. So you say it's okay for you to talk to me crazy, but when I say something back or I clap back, you got a problem with that? So I was like, all right, like, girl, you know, you got a lot of nerve. So, yeah, like, that was another thing that I was just like, yeah, I really, like, I really just feel like if it's not a major event, I don't want to have my man or anybody that I really am in a relationship, married to, engaged to, around my female friends like that. Because I feel like it gives ammunition for messy friends like that to try to talk shit or sneak diss you in front of your man. And even though the guy Country wasn't my man or nothing like that, I'm just saying it to say, like, you never know. Like, so there's, like, I don't know, but, like, growing up in Maplewood, I know, like, I guess it just gave me a little bit more street smarts. Maybe that's the way to say. But, like, I realized, like, some females will act different when guys are around. Not all females do it, but a lot of females tend to act real different when men come around. And she was one of those type of females where she got off on putting you down to make herself look better, especially when men were in the room. So for me, I'm not bringing, I ain't bringing my dude around my female friends like that. Like, it's not necessary. I ain't doing that. So that's just that. So yeah. Another thing too is work friends. Like, I remember working for this Indian doctor, or this Indian man. I don't know what he wasn't really a doctor. He was some type of Indian CEO, doctor / whatever. And he had his own, like, I guess it was like a medical company in Edison, and it was like a typical Monday through Friday office job. And I was the only black girl. I worked with all Spanish women. And I remember they would always want me to come out with them to go out for drinks, to hang out. They were always like, oh, Andrea, come out with us. Like, come out for drinks. But I always said no. I would always be like, no, I'm okay. Like, no, I'm going home. Thank you for inviting me, but I'm good. And the reason why I do that is because coworkers really aren't your friends. They are just your coworkers. They are just that. I'm not saying that, and this is really to touch on the subject about the girl who DM'd me. I'm not going to air her Instagram name, but yeah, like, for me, coworkers really are just your friends. Like, they're not really, I said that all fucked up. They're not your friends. Coworkers are not your friends. They are just that. They are your coworkers. So for me, I don't think that it's wise to befriend your coworkers and have them all in your personal business, because if for any reason, like, okay, marijuana is legal now. But am I going to invite my coworker and I'm turning up drinking, we smoking whatever, and now she like, oh, I'm not gonna do that. And not to say that they would do it, but you just never know. Like, especially in your workplace, and every job has its bullshit, every job has its drama, its kinks, but I'm not about to invite a coworker somewhere where I'm getting my money to come into my personal life to fuck with my money, if that makes sense. So if you listening and this is what you want me to touch on, I'm just saying it to say, like, me personally, unless if I really felt like this person was 100% genuine after a while of kind of like observing them and really getting to know them, I really wouldn't be so eager to go out with my coworkers and be going out for drinks and bringing them to my house and all this stuff, because I feel like that's getting into messy waters. Some people do it and it works out fine for them, but I think for me, I'm a little bit more reserved where, I really have to be 100% comfortable to do that. But I've always had that mentality. Even when I was working at that Indian guy's office, I don't know what he was, but whatever he was, when I was working at his medical company, working with those Spanish girls, them always trying to ask me out for drinks and stuff. The reason why I didn't is because I would hear how they would gossip about other people's business. And for me, I was like, yeah, I don't want to be off one day and y'all talking shit about what I told you for drinks. And I would hear them talk shit about, like, other girls that they were super close with or whatever. And I'm just like, but y'all close, y'all together, whatever. And you are talking shit about her personal life. That's why I said I don't think, befriending coworkers is the smartest thing. But if you really feel like a person is genuine, or if you meet someone who she seems like she's down to earth and y'all share the same morals and values and similarities in the hobby, sure, by all means, kick it with them. But I'm just saying, don't be so quick to chill with your coworkers, because some of them have hidden agendas, and you really need to watch the company you keep, because when you start hanging out with your coworkers, they could just start spreading so much shit about you, and it just makes where you getting your money just 10 times worse. But yes, those are really only the two topics, right? Yeah. So, like I said, you really should just watch the company that you keep, because at the end of the day, you just never know what their agenda is, and you just kind of, especially in your workplace, when it's where you get your money. It's kind of where you, it's where you get your bag. So you don't really want to now super involve someone who you really don't know what their agenda is into your personal life, which ultimately can mess with your money. That is what I think as far as this girl's request about working with people and all that other stuff. That's just my personal thing. If you want to continue hanging out with your co-workers, by all means, continue to hang out with them. But like I said, I think that whenever you are leveling up, whenever you are getting your shit together, when you are trying to lose weight, you're trying to clear up your skin, you're getting more healthy, you're working towards a job, you're working towards a promotion, yes, it will get lonely. People will start acting funny when you're about to be married, when you're about to have a kid. People are going to start acting funny. It's going to start to become lonely. And I've honestly never really understood that, but that's just how it is. It's unfortunate, and it's just something that you have to learn to deal with. Being successful does not always come with a whole bunch of friends, a whole bunch of support. It is lonely. So I say that to say, just, be mindful of that. Be mindful of who you keep in your circle, who you kind of let get up close and personal into your life, because the more you get your shit together, the more lonely it gets. Not everyone's always going to be your cheerleader. Not everyone's always going to support you. So that's just something to consider. As always, like I say, we are always going to get into some things. Feel free to always slip inside to my DMs. Follow me on Drea Baby. That's DR3A_BBY. As I always say, we're going to get into some things. Everything on this podcast does not have to be about work. Like, we could talk about so many other things. Like, this is just a lifestyle thing. For me, I started it off on work because I was like, all right, this healthcare thing is trying. But, like, that's not what I want to talk about. Like, we, as Black women, we go through so much stuff in work, personal life, family, you know, like, I'm here to discuss whatever, you know, whatever really resonates with y'all. So, like I said, always, please, we are here to keep things cute, classy, and simple. Slip inside into my DMs and let me know what you think, and let me know what is on your mind. Let me know, like, hey, you know, this is what has been on my mind or whatever. This is what I'm trying to kind of get a hold of, and I've always discussed it. As always, ladies, we are keeping things cute, classy, and simple. Until next time.